I'm feeling so much better today. I just did the Enochian key 5. We're on mental body 5. Maybe there's a similarity. All right. We're going to do the next mental audience for childcare. Now, there's something to do with childcare. My sister is a master at, in some respects. And then another one of my girlfriends is a master in another respect. And my mother was a master in another respect. And we're going to kind of accumulate a wisdom with a lot of different parenting styles or methods to create the perfect childcare mental body. Now, this is going to be based on for poor people, because I'm going to assume everybody's a single mother as a baseline. It's the single mother archetype that their twin flame is a total dick or cheating on them or hating them, or the kids are like from another dad and they can't even get a date or find anybody that's even worthy. Very rare is this going to be like a male dealing with the children, but sometimes, and those are the charm guys of life. Believe there are a handful. I have met one male who was a great father, and that is Brent Williamson. And he is the father of my niece's best friend. So there's Isla, who's little Haniel, and then there's Gracie, who's Raphael, and then Gracie's dad. Okay? I've only met him once, but he's super dad. So we're going to be calling for some of his wisdom. I also have, there are a number of nannies throughout history that I've come to get to know that are Wonder Women. I hired one I had one hired for the managing director of Huge, is Patricia Korth McDonald. So her nanny was Rosario. And Rosario is Superwoman and probably belongs on like an America's Super Nanny television show. Maybe not yet, maybe in the future. There are a number of nannies my sister has hired throughout time. There's a woman named Brandy, and she is one of a kind. I grew up with a nanny who was cruel, but knew how to take care of us. So I belong to a background of a single mother who hired a nanny to raise us, as she did a 6-figure job salary. So my mother played the male role and the nanny played the stay-at-home mother role. Childcare is an interesting topic because everyone's insane. But here at Ravenclaw, we should be above the status quo. Now, many of you, not all, but a lot, will be has-beens, or I already raised my children. But you can still raise grandchildren, and you can still do pointers to other young women, and you can have a better repertoire to choose from in the future, because as you begin to mature and become a crone, you're supposed to ascend up to the top of the abyss and be an auror. And so your childcare still needs to be fully developed and bloomed. And there may be missing angles from the last couple decades that you never quite mastered. There are very few topics or key points that are fully developed in this presentation because I am not currently raising my own children, but I I have had a lot of experience dealing with other people's children. So, that being said, all right. This is going to be a mishmash. Just like raising a kid. Triage of intelligence. We're going to start with broken glass and patterns. We talked about this in home care. Broken glass. What I'm going to do is talk about how parents get angry and punish the kids for doing things like breaking a dish, okay? Instead of making it into a game. All right, everything in my book would to be Mary Poppins out my entire reality with my children or with other kids' children. That if somebody breaks the dish, it's not a punishment. It's not fun because they have to go get the broom and clean it up right then and there. But it's not something to scold them about. Oh my God. In CHESED, you're not allowed to scold a child ever. You are not to be cross with a child. They should be able to be pounding at you constantly all day long, and you just go, boop, ha ha ha, boop. And you have a sense of mastery and power, like that they did not override your emotional presence with insanity, with their insanity. So that their demons didn't master you. That's one of the biggest things. A child is not supposed to conquer the parent. Ever. Under any circumstance. So Isla was a really big lesson. Because she would throw temper tantrums. And scream and throw temper tantrums and scream, and she's beastie, believe me. There would be days where there was a party going on and Isla was screaming her head off, and all I would do was throw Isla onto the bed and I would keep her there on the bed prison. The bed prison. And when she would try to get off the bed, I would knock her back down. And it was like, boop, get back up, like, you're not getting off this bed. And then when she would crawl off the bed, I'd throw her back on. Because I'm Auntie Ray, the jungle gym. So I would be able to handle the kid like that, where it's not going to injure them. It's not going to be abusive. It's like, boop, like, you're not getting past here. So the same thing goes with, like, anything. If you let the kid get to you, that's when you lose. Like, and that's in life. That's with everybody. Because a kid is like a demon. They're demons that need to be trained, just like dogs. I'm not joking, but they need to be trained like a human. All right, so broken glass. Life is a game. They break the dish. Oh no! What's the prayer we want to put into that dish? So now it's like fairy dust gets sparkled everywhere. And now we get to pick it up and make it into a game. Okay? Pick it up. Pick it up. Broken. So what when I did this, it said broken class patterns. The big thing about broken class, it's the same thing. If you let the kid, the demon thing, get to you, and it's going to take you down. So it's classless. It's classless to get angry at a child for a broken dish. Or a pen mark on a couch. It's classless to lose your grace and to lose your Mary Poppins-esque demeanor because it's a child. If you let that child trigger you into violence, then you're bizarre. You're bizarro. You should be able to handle 50 children and dragon sing them to sleep. That's a Ravenclaw. So that's the Mother Mary energy. I'm responsible and I have intelligence. I have witnessed too much in my life. Losing it at your kid or your niece or your nephew, like or anything, or your friend's kids. Losing it at a child is so, you're so small. It's like losing it at a dog that's yours to train. That's your business. Period. There is not one child that's a psychopath. There is no such thing as Samara. I am Samara. I am. Okay? If you think a demon is possessing a kid, then you need to come to somebody like me and have it exorcised out. If you're beating the kid because it's a demon, like, no, like, that's you. That's, like, you're the demon. Period. Okay. Quick cleanups and catch-up. So I label this catch-up because it's like, oh no, what do? I need to catch up real fast. When I was at Hooters, we had these glass ketchup bottles, and they would be at the end of these very slippery tables. And they would fall to the floor, and they would shatter, and it would be ketchup, glass, everywhere. Okay. You have 5 seconds to clean it up, and then get back to work. 5 seconds. Otherwise, it's a lawsuit and a hazard. This is the best catch-up teaching in existence. We had these menus, and they were made out of like Bristol board or hard cardboard. And all you would do is you would take one menu, and then you would take another menu, and then you would take them together, and you would scoop everything up and throw it in the trash can. And then it was clean. And then you would wipe it down in 5 seconds. There are quick cleanups to life. And you need to find them all. For vomit. For poop. For pee. There are quick cleanups in life. These are your catch-up tutorials. Broken glass with liquid goo instead of it accumulating and stressing you out even more. That way, because you'd be a Hooters girl at the same time, right? I'm not allowed to get mad at the customer that just shattered the thing. That's going to ruin my tip. And the same thing goes with parenting. I'm not allowed to get mad at the kid that just shattered my entire reality because now I have to clean up a giant disaster. It's the same. You need to put on a smiley face. And you need to go, whoop, that was some really easy stuff. And then you go, oh, vomit, throw it in the laundry right now, 5 seconds. Instead of it accumulating in a pile, and it creates bitter resentment, and it lasts forever. Same thing goes with dog poop on the carpet, and endless amounts of like disaster area cleanup. That's everything in childcare. And in, like, childcare includes pets too. I'm not gonna diverge from that topic. Okay. Then we have trash can. There are two things that should be accessible at all times when dealing with children and pets. And that is the trash can, the outdoor trash can, and the laundry. And if you can have a bucket that is a soap bucket, like dishes, for stained clothes, and you go, boop, I'm going to soak you. I'm going to soak you in the stain bucket before I throw you into the laundry later tonight. Before it dries and crests. Done. Okay, so trash can and laundry. Cleanliness. The same thing goes with a sink and dishes. You should have you might want to buy a dish bucket so it doesn't clutter the sink. And then you throw those dishes into that bucket. It's the same thing at Hooters, okay? So there are dish buckets. And you go, boom. It can soak in water there, and then the sink is free for the children to use. Oh my God. And then I can do my dishes in the morning or later that night. God forbid. All right. Okay, schedules. So we have this, right? Okay. Maybe you only have 4 sections and then 1 page is that week. And then you have children color-coded. You have one color for one kid and another color for another kid. And it should be written down. And it's even better if you're in a shared parented space that you have something on the refrigerator. This. This is when this nanny shows up. This is when this nanny shows up. Because it builds a communication bridge with your spouse or your mate. And then it sets a certain expectation. An expectation is what is required. Period. When you have good communication, you can create expectation. And when you're following through consistently with expectation, that's when you build trust and love. When you build stuff with the kids, same thing. All right. We'll get to chores at the end. All right, sleeping. All right, so my sister did this thing where she slept with her kids in the bed with her. You would hear about Wayne Dyer having a family bed. So I'm not against family beds at all. It shouldn't be used as a weapon against a spouse that wants to have sex with you. It's like, that is another issue. And you shouldn't put your kids in the middle of that issue. Ever. Ever. You should be able to be very vocal about, I don't want to have sex with you, ever. You can have your own room. And me and my child will be in this bed. And that's fine. So that way the child's not getting in the way. Or it's like a passive-aggressive agenda. It's really that. Okay, sleeping. All right, so my niece can't sleep. She has insomnia. She has, like, deep issues with getting into the delta and theta levels. That's because she's a Ravenclaw and a Hyote, and she's running at such a high 5 frequency. And then my sister's a stress case. My sister's brain also goes like this, and she doesn't meditate. So my sister can't get her own brain, into this. So Isla stays up here too. And she can't calm and center. So my sister gets melatonin to help Isla calm and center, and that starts to work. But she still complains about it a lot. I can't get Isla to go to bed. Okay, I can't, like, she still has issues. All right, here, take my kids for 3 days. Okay, so day 1, I had 0 problems getting Isla to go to bed. 0. 0 problems. She went to bed on time, and she woke up on time. With me, like mommy, one kid on one side and the other kid on the other side. The difference is this. My deep, deep delta. Alpha's Isla's little psychosis fairy. That goes, I can't calm my mind down. So as a parent, if you decide that you are not going to spend your time learning how to meditate and retrain your brain so that you can enable a space of healing, then it's like so self-centered. It's so self-centered. So your job as a parent is to be a master, not make your children have to rescue you and be your parents because they're going to become the masters. Like, you're a parent because you're of a certain vibration, which sort of said, yeah, I am able to take care of their needs. So operating from a space of abundance, I can provide that. If you do not, then that's a form of abuse. Times a billion. Okay, sleeping. They need to be on regimented schedules also. The idea that they're going to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning and then wake up at 10, and then the next day that they're going to go to bed at 8 and then wake up at 6. That's psycho. That's a psycho. There should be like less than a 1 hour variant, even when you're traveling, even when you're time traveling, okay? You need to stay very consistent and regimented because their brain, their bodies, it's like you, it's just like you. You should not be forced to move from Los Angeles to London and then acquire 0 jet lag and have 0 time, patience, or energy to even repair your body, and then you have to start work the very next morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. And you look like a psychopath. Okay, so that's like abuse. So it's definitely abuse on a kid. You're teaching your kid how to treat their own body and how to think about time and how to think about sleep. I would also not be like, "8 hours is enough. Definitely time to wake up." So that's the shit my mother did to me. So I actually needed 9 to 10 hours. Because I'm a spiritual person instead of a psycho matrix robot. So I would roll out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning feeling like I was going to die. Every day, starting at 7th grade. I thought I was going to die. That's a form of abuse. That's toxicity for a kid. No kid should be rolling out of bed feeling like they're going to kill themselves because they didn't get enough sleep. Oh my God. All right. Sleeping. I'm trying to think of anything else that needs to be discussed about sleeping. Sleeping on road trips, naps. So my sister was very good about the kids having nap time. I'm going to tell you this. This is from my own personal experience. I could feel the abusive difference between preschool and nap time at school versus kindergarten, and you're not allowed to do anything and you can't do anything, and then you feel like you're gonna die. So that's weird. So like, we're undersleeping the kids, we're overworking them and overstressing them out. Period. And then we let them play video games all day long, which is even weirder. All right. Sleeping. I'm hearing somebody go, "You're not a mother. You don't know how unflexible my schedule is." And I go, I kind of do. I do know how unflexible your schedule is, or can be. I've kind of worked in almost every environment known to man. So the question is, how can you accomplish what you need to accomplish? And not, I can't accomplish it. I can guarantee you. So what your kids need is what your kids need. And if you need to create a more flexible schedule to provide your kids like a sane, healthy regimen, then like do that. Like, I don't know what to say. There are creative ways. If you're not able to be a problem solver and create solutions to those kind of insignificant problems that do a lot of harm on an individual, then you don't belong in Ravenclaw. Somebody's going, "Oh my God, I know." Like, you have to be able to download problem solving from God to produce miracles. Miracle, 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 miracle. Oh my God, I can't. My schedule is so unflexible. Okay, so that's not the brain, that's Ravenclaw. Ravenclaw's miracle, 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 miracle. More. Higher intelligence miracles. More miracles. Miracles. Bizarro. Okay. Mary Poppins. Ravenclaw. We should put Mary Poppins on the movie list for CHESED. All right. Let's talk about snacks, food. This is where my mother did well. This and travel. Okay. So, snacks. Money, 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 money. Just throwing money away. Do you understand? That's what snacks are. So how do you make snacks that are healthy, that they'll eat, that they'll be like, yeah, lusting after? Okay. So like in the olden days, we had apples and celery with peanut butter. And we had things like an Oreo. Maybe we have one cookie a day. All right, so there are those pouches with the vegetables, the vegetable pouches. That's what my sister did. $30 down the drain that week for pouches. If you have 2 kids and they go 1 to 2 pouches a day, it could add up to like $30 just on pouches. That's a snack. All right. Somebody's like, that's how they get their vegetables. Are those pouches. That's how they get their nutrition. Okay, so blend tech. Snack time. Oh, you want a pouch? Let's make a smoothie. Let's put avocado and cilantro and some lime juice and some cucumber and make a green vegetable smoothie with the avocado, and then put an apple and maybe pour some apple juice in it, whatever. And then, the blend tech is that, but it's not like throw it away. It's not money just down the drain, because you can use it forever. Okay, sustainable choices. And then you have a crock pot, always filled with black beans or rice or chicken soup, snack, or dinner, but snack. And then you have crackers. Oh, black beans and crackers. Okay, kids, the way I've seen it, kids eat the same thing every day. Somebody goes, shut up, I know. So like, they don't care. Oh, avocado toast with magic pink salt, the fairy dust pink salt, and then it's a game, and that's all they want. It's pretty simple. But peanut butter bread. Kids aren't psychos. They aren't like developed in like the tummy. Like, I want 500 different things this week. So if you keep it simple and healthy, that's what they'll stay. They're gonna fight you on it if you change regimens. They're gonna throw temper tantrums. They're gonna go, I'm gonna beat you to death unless you give me an Oreo. I can guarantee it. They will go psycho if you take them out of their current paradigm. But it will last about 3 weeks at the most. And you've got to do it. You've got to do it. You got to get them off of the junk in life. All right. So we go, I'm not going to buy my kids those fucking pouches. Blend tech. So if my kid wants a strawberry banana mush, I'll make them make it. And then they can have fun, and we can make it a magic cooking experiment. Like, what is the magic spell we're going to create for today? And they have their magic mush. Somebody's like, Colorun's not a psycho. That's kind of what they all want to do. Like, they want to mush their own banana and to make a mess with their hands like it's goo. And then they can mush their own strawberry and then throw it into a blend tech, and then that's magic. And it's a game. Make it wash their hands and everything's great. Like, I've spent enough time around children to understand. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. I will get those kids on a regimented schedule. And at the end of the 3 days, my little sister will arrive like lawyer auntie with all these extra goodies that wants to buy their love. And interrupt with cake pops and stuff. And my mind goes, no. So that's my sister's narcissism. My little sister will make these kids want to vomit because she doesn't understand that their little tummies can't handle an ice cream this big and a cake pop. Okay, so like those are psycho aunts that actually don't know how to handle children. But they love and they want love from the kids. So on snacks and treats, we would develop a method where it's like one piece of little chocolate a day when they did something right. Or rewards for I didn't pee my pants, like a little mint or a little chocolate, and the kids go insane. And if you keep the reward little, then it's an actual, like, it's a thing. So you need to keep it like it's a game. It's a mental reward program. So it's Pavlovian conditioning. Too much and it's too little and it's that was not enough. But like a significant, like a Godiva truffle cut in half, and then one kid gets one half and the other kid has another half. Bet. No kid, somebody goes, I'm not going to listen to you anymore. No kid deserves a Godiva truffle. I understand. We would actually get the Trader Joe's chocolates, like the little mints from Trader Joe's, and the little buttons and stuff, and like that's what we would reward them with. Or like a little the orange jelly scent caterpillar thing, and then you cut it in half, and one kid gets the other, and the other kid gets the other, like half and half. All right, let's talk about friends. Okay, so kids and their friends. I want to tell you a little bit about my experience, and then about like the new generation experience. Okay, so kids, the kids have their friends, and their friends matter more than you do. So some of the kids, just remember that was what it was like growing up. Like, my friends are 10 times more important than my mom. Like, I can guarantee it. Because the friends empathize and can see on an eye-to-eye level about their own space. Somebody goes, I've totally forgotten that about my own child. So, like, the friends are the friends are the important people in life. So you need to teach your kids how to like handle humans by also having your own group of good friends. Good friends that treat you well and are good people. So that you model that for your kids. Period. So I'm gonna go hang out with the people that are like good, not fake frenemy friends, because that's what you're training your kids to do. Okay, so my sister had an awful friend named Corey Burns, and we were young, and then I kind of had an awful friend named Jessica Ellis. And Corey Burns and Jessica Ellis were like this. They were mean. They were bad influences and mean. Corey Burns was the worst. Okay. As a parent, you know which girl is like those girls. And you need, or guys. It's a little different with guys than girls, but you need to know that those people need to be not as much of an influence on your kid. My mother didn't set the appropriate boundaries with my sister and Corey. So my sister became like Corey. So Corey would influence my sister to beat me up when we were growing up, instead of my mother intervening and going, Corey needs to never be allowed at our home. Somebody goes, shut up, I know. So those, even in high school, like those friends need to just never be allowed. When you set the appropriate boundaries, your kids can thrive. So my sister became a bully and did bad things because of Corey instead of herself. She was fine with herself. All right. Camping trips. This kind of works for all ages, by the way. Like, when you know that the kid is kind of rotten, you need to make sure that the kid knows what the behavior is. And you need to have a pact with that parent of that child that you can parent that kid like your own child. Otherwise, that kid should not be in the sphere of your friends. So you should have those discussions with other parents. All right. Fights and boundaries. Camping trips. Now we're going to go dogs and pets. Poop. All right. So camping trips. My sister does this very well. My sister is a master at travel. She cannot sit at home with the children. She was a stay-at-home mother, and she goes, nope. We are not stay-at-home anything. We are adventurists. And like every weekend, it was like a new adventure. We're going to go off to Palm Springs, off to the desert. We're going to go off to Utah and Zion, and we're going to go off to Sedona, and we're going to go off there and off there. We're going to go off to Disneyland. Okay, so that was my sister. It was very productive. Because instead of going, just do video games all day long, she conditions little toddlers to go, yeah, I want to go for my hike. It was genius. And so the kids at a very young age were able to go on long road trips, 6 to 8 hours. And that's a normal reality for them. Nothing. So the idea of coming to visit Grandma and Auntie Ray Ray up in or down in San Diego when they're in Simi, that is like a 2-hour drive. Well, that's nothing. So then they can go every weekend down there if they needed to. Okay, so it's that. And then camping trips are like, you don't need much. And it's a learning experience, and it's a growth development for them to always learn how to step outside their own bubble of reality. That's everything to a kid. Fights and boundaries. Okay, so I'm going to say one more thing about my sister. She does this really well. There are a couple things she does not do well at all. There are some things that she does very well. All right. She makes her kids identify with each other by dressing them the same in twin outfits. You guys are identical. Okay, this drives my mother insane. But to me, it's Jesus. They are dressed the same. They are of equal value. They look at each other and they see themselves in their own mirror. It's beautiful. But also this, when you're out and about, it's less work on your brain. So when you look for your kids, you can spot them with like eagle eyes. One's over there and one's over there because they're dressed the same. And you don't even have to look. Your brain just knows where to look because they're dressed the same. And that works very well for big groups of children too. They're all dressed the same. And that's why you see many, many groups of children when they go on recreation trips, that it is, or field trips, that they are all dressed in like chartreuse, bright green neon t-shirts. The same thing works with my kids, or my, like my kids through the astral planes. I put them all in the same identical egg. Even if one's a Gryffindor and one's a Ravenclaw, they're all in the egg and they all look the same. So I can take care of them. I know they all have their issues and they're all different, but I can identify them very quickly. It's different than my niece's eggs. I'm not joking. With my niece's eggs, I have to like deal with the other stuff. But my own children, I can go boom, 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 boom. Okay. My sister will also buy them the same ski colors. So you just never lose them as you're going down the slope. Now this is for wealthy people who can actually afford ski trips, but you know what? That's life. You still have to think about things in the future when you do those things. Bright colors and they're identical. It saves your brain. Life is about simplicity. Simplify, simplify, simplify. She does a lot of mommy and me outfits also, so that the kids see her dressed the same as her as well. And that's like, look at mommy dressed like this, and you guys are dressed like this, because we are one. All right. Fights and boundaries. Okay, so they are mirrors. My nieces are mirrors, but they fight, okay? But Auntie Ray Ray started when the little one was born, really inserting herself in their life. And I started programming them with games. And the job was, anytime that they went a little insane, I would yell, boundaries! And their job was to drop down onto the floor, sit crisscross applesauce style, or Indian style, however you want to say it. And it's not racist or degradatory, whatever, because in India, they sit this way also. So it's Eastern Indian style, not just Native American style. Or half lotus, okay? Crisscross applesauce, their hands go into their laps, and they go, please, Auntie Ray Ray, I love you, Auntie Ray Ray. Let me say that again. They go start going psycho, and I go, boundaries, and they drop down onto the floor, crisscross applesauce style, hands in their lap. Please, Auntie Ray Ray, I love you, Auntie Ray Ray. And they await to climb the jungle gym, where I give them flips and turns and twists and fun. Or maybe they await a candy treat, or maybe they await some other kind of treat. But athletic, fun treats with like loving human touch. And it's like that they love to climb the jungle gym, and they love to do flips off of me, and they love it when I throw them onto the couch. They love things like that. So it's always like, which one are we going to do? And sometimes they get to choose, and sometimes they don't get to choose. Sometimes it's me spinning them around or dragging them around the floor. Whatever I can do at the present moment. Okay, so you've got to be creative in life. It's like acro yoga. Now, if you're physically incapable of doing that kind of stuff, then you need to come up with some other kind of treat. Because in Ravenclaw, we are intelligent and creative thinkers that think in thoughts of abundance. Abundance instead of limits. Okay. So this presents the idea that if they start fighting, they're more desiring Auntie Ray Ray's attention than attacking. Because their thoughts aren't wired for self-reliant, self-soothing. They are being parented because they're children. And so I present them with the better option. They will either go this way or this way. My job is to make sure that this way is available before they go down the wrong path. And that begins to train their brain to always look for that option. Always look for the treat with the higher reward instead of the low demeaning level. And how you condition the kids when they're little is how they will be growing up forever. Okay. Life is a game. Period. So Auntie Ray Ray doesn't get flustered when the kids start fighting. Auntie Ray Ray becomes fun. And then my love tempers their aggression. Now, if they were my kids, they probably wouldn't be fighting as much because I'd always be there, and that would be an issue that would have been worked out if I was the parent. But my own sister had her own stuff to work out. But Auntie Ray Ray can come to the rescue when Auntie Ray Ray comes. That's the Mary Poppins component. You're always going to be the asshole Mary Poppins, even if you have your own children. Always. So you're always going to be the person going, that is not my kid. But the reality is that their mommy is possessive over them, identifies with them, hates you for being able to do it, but also is grateful. If they even have 1 sense or ounce of humility or self-preservation, they're grateful. They go, thank God. Thank fucking God. So you may have to deal with some of their passive-aggressiveness. But a really good nanny figures out how to temper that also. It's like being a personal assistant and not undermining the intelligence or authority of the boss, even if you're 10 times smarter than them. You're just available to serve. So you do the dishes also, and then you get the laundry done also, and you tell them to leave or like go get your bath, please. Okay, so giving them the space to take care of themselves where they don't feel like they're dying or gonna shoot somebody is very important. That is not my kid. Doesn't matter, mommy is tired. All right, so Auntie Ray Ray will be invited out on trips with 10 children. And then that's when Auntie Ray Ray is just the jungle gym. And then I have to deal with 10, and then we have to have lines and service and rules. But it's the same thing. The way I am with my nieces is the way I am with all of my nieces' friends. Forever. And the kids love it. And the parents do too. The parents are like, oh my God. Thank you for the break. So it's my job as a master to give the parents a break. It doesn't matter if I'm going to break. Do you understand? I am a master. Me breaking, that's nothing. I'm Jesus. I'm supposed to be breaking. I'm Jesus. So that's a self-sacrifice component. Because you're a ninja. You're a ninja in training, and these kids are your weights that you're lifting up for infinity. So you are never allowed to lose your resistance training. Now, if they're like stabbing you with, or like shooting, like that's not the same ballgame, and that is something totally different and like a whole new reality. Fights and boundaries. All right, let's talk about dogs and pets. Okay, dogs and pets. Every kid like wants a pet. they love animals. Okay, you don't have to give your kid a pet. In many cases, it is better and more responsible to not give your kid a pet, or to give them a turtle, and make sure that they master taking responsibility and cleaning the turtle tank and taking care of it and feeding it well and doing it for the long term instead of the first month. Oh, I'm going to take care of the turtle for the first month. And then I'm going to lose interest because I didn't really want the turtle. Or the turtle's not mine, or it's nasty. I don't like it. So they need to learn these lessons of like longevity responsibility. That's like me getting the attention of the dragons and then throwing them away a month later. Or a student, like a long-term student. That's how Star treated me. I show up for she lost interest within the first month of me being there. I had 3 conversations with her in 9 months of living. Okay? So those irresponsibility, that's not mine. I don't like it. I just So if you don't like it, you need to find a home for it. How do you find a home for it that's going to continue to take care of it? How do you monitor that? So what do you do with the turtle after you give it away? How do you make sure that it's still going to be okay? Because that was your responsibility and your choice. And what happens to that turtle is your fault. Okay. Let's talk about other kinds of dogs and pets. Kids do weird stuff to animals. Let me say that again. Kids take their pain and their anger and aggression and their loss of normalcy behavior out on the animals. Somebody says it's so cruel, but it's true. That's right. So animals don't do very well with untrained, broken children. Ever. So if kids have issues, those issues are going to manifest onto the animals. So if you're not a good parent and understand that, then there is a deep mirror there. It's like a giant psychological wound that needs to be worked out. I know this is my own self, and I'm like a saint. I was a good kid, but I was broken and wounded. I needed love, and the cat wouldn't give it to me, so I would lock the cat in a room and make it let me pet it. And when it didn't, I would force it. I would force it to let me pet it. Because I needed love, and none of my parents would give it to me. And that was a really big issue. And I treated one of my dad's cats like that. And it's embarrassing now, and I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I was awful. It was the way I treated it is not acceptable. But my dogs, on the other hand, I treated pretty well. My dogs, I would put on leashes, and I would go rollerblading while they pulled me. And they were little cockapoos, but I was inappropriate with them. My mother's issues showed up on me So my mother didn't care if she left them to like whine and bark at the door just to have some attention and love. And they would scream and claw at the door. Please let me in. Please let me in. And my mother would be so like, no, we're going to lock you in the garage instead. You can like deal with your own shit and eat your own shit in the garage. And I felt bad for the dogs, but I didn't know how to deal with it. Oh my God. Okay, so that's just a kid. So a kid models the parent's behavior. So you need it is on my to-do list. Making sure your kids have a sense of authority over the dog training is a very important part of it because you have to stay consistent within the rules. So the way you train the dog is the way the kid trains the dog. And that's the way the dog handles the family. Not, oh, I train the dog this way and the kid treats it like that. So then the dog goes, I don't know which is which. I don't know how I'm allowed to behave. Even if I know that this person likes me to treat it like, act like this, and that person likes that, it's too mentally unstable for an animal to feel comfortable. And the same is with children. This is why, like, me, the head of Gryffindor, is going to be best friends with the head of Ravenclaw. So that we're in alignment. So that the kids know how Kelly treats them is the same as how Auntie Ray Ray or Miss Collie Wren treats them. Forever. Not, oh, she doesn't understand that this woman is like this. And then my brain has to calculate 500 equations around how I'm supposed to behave with this woman versus that woman. And now I build resentment because nobody actually sees me. Okay. My biggest problem in college, and this is also high school, and it was also junior high. It was a little less, it was worse 0 in junior high. I have 500 classes. No, wait, I only have 10. And they all think they're the important one. None of the teachers talk to each other. And I have this much homework and this much time. So that's not an ascended master school. That's not even a not crazy making school. That's a school for kids that are going to commit suicide. They all think they're the star teacher. All the time is dedicated to their work. So as a student and as a child, I'm always a failure. So that's a narcissist agenda. I'm hearing that right now. And that's correct. So if the teachers aren't in alignment or agreement with the time or the programs or the consistency of like, we only ask for bite-sized amounts of homework every day instead of toxic overloads of homework every day. So you create crazy people that just fail. Or they get addicted to Adderall, or they get addicted to other performance enhancing drugs, or to counter off their inadequacies in life. Okay. I'm hearing, what are your interpretations of Adderall or any of those antis? Okay. I'm going to be very careful here because I know that there are dimensional issues with multidimensional children, and some actually need medication, but not at the extent of their sanity or their body. And there are antipsychotics, and there are Ritalin, Adderall, Wellbutrin, everything. Just, okay. Psychotropic medications, I would minimize all psychotropic medications. And I would focus on nutrition and building a healthy lifestyle and exercise and time management. And I wouldn't drown the child in time management rhetoric and condemnation. I would actually sit with them like a private tutor and help them with time management until they could develop those muscles on their own. I would also be inclined to yoga and meditation and martial arts, because those are the practices that are more zen and create a more whole human. The less of the burden I can put on a child, the more that child can bloom. This is not your burden. This is our issue to work through so that they don't feel alienated and isolated and alone. If you feel like I'm throwing a burden on you, then you need to email me and we need to build a bridge. I don't know that if Kelly feels like I'm throwing a burden on Kelly, because Kelly and I became friends. And so she asks me for help or shows me what we're doing, and then it builds a sense of excitement and love. I'm not that mean, not on the outside. I'm mean on the inside when you're mean or cruel, but that's about it. Seriously. Fights and boundaries, dogs and pets. Now we're at medications. There are certain practices that you can wean your children off of psychotropic medications and antidepressants, right? That's life. And the food they eat and the friends they have and the lifestyles they choose are part of it. It's also the music they listen to. Somebody says, oh my God, I know. It's the video games and the movies they watch. Okay? And if there are deeper demons, then you need to ask for healers and exorcists that know how to work it. But you also know that you are supposed to have all your A&R marks work done, and you can do those for your kids. And then you can teach your kids to do them for themselves. And that's a writing meditation. It's a therapeutic. All right. All my demon in hell goes into the lava or cobra acid. And you can start them with the meditation. That they throw their demons into the lava. And it might make them feel better. And then evolve them into the written work, which is the same meditation, but now it's written down. So now it's 10 times more powerful. So now they feel like a magician and a ninja. And now they may qualify for Gryffindor down the road. And so there's a reward. You may want to keep away from the knife rape stuff until they're older, and that's fine. That's fine. You start with demon in hell or evil. That's a lot of the work. That's more than half of the work. Psychic attack even. Okay? If you wanted to state like knife rape and pedophilia like at the end, then they can get 80 to 90% of the work done, and then it's not uncomfortable until they're like teenagers. Okay. Poop. We were talking about dogs and pets, and now we're going to talk about poop. Oh my God. All right. There should be no dog poop in the yard. Ever. How do you create that? There are apartment living dogs where the owner takes the dog out. Or you have 1 hour, that morning hour. Ew, but then it's not all dry and then it's soggy from the dew from the night before. Okay, so I know exactly. Poop patrol needs to get done once a day. And your children need to do it. If they want the dog, they need to do it. And they need to do it every day, and it might take them 10 minutes every day. And if they don't do it, then they don't get dessert. Stuff like that. Oh my God. They didn't do the poop patrol after they got home from school? Oh my God. The no dessert. Like, crate training. Or no video game for the day. Crate training is a very important and a very practical way to train dogs. I don't know that Cesar Millan covers crate training, but one of the best dogs I've ever met in my life was from Sandy Morin, and she is a very, very good dog trainer. The way she takes care of her dogs is impeccable. They do not poop ever in the home. They are calm. They are well-mannered. You can take them anywhere. You can pretty much take them anywhere and be off-leash, kinda. They're not off-leash. Like, there is no such thing as an off-leash dog. Like, some there are, but the point is that they do not create a ruckus and they do not create a mess. And they were both crate trained. So you need to learn about that. I'm not going to cover anything other than that because I have not crate trained my own dog to give you the crazy tips and the trade. All right, we talked about smoothies and pouches. Blendtex, cookies, snacks, and grams. One a day. Even my sister does that. One a day. Like, that's their dessert or their snack after they get home from school. Cheese, not too much dairy, and not too much chicken. Your kids should not be living off of fried chicken. Ever. Your kids should not be living off of cheese and dairy and yogurt and then fried chicken. There are times where my sister would take our kids, to a trip. Somebody's saying this woman is a narcissist because that's all they'll eat. Okay, so your kids are supposed to be living off of vegetables and some bread. Good bread. A little bit of cheese. And maybe a little bit of meat. Maybe. Like, supplement it with avocado toast. Every time. Oh, they want cheese, more cheese, more cheese. 5 cheeses a day with a yogurt. Like, avocado toast. Here's a nectarine. Oh, they want that soothing, filling energy. Okay. People get addicted to cheese because it's like heroin in the brain. Just like sugar is like cocaine. It provides a neurochemical response that creates addiction to substance. I know what I'm talking about. They get 1 string cheese a day and then maybe a yogurt. Not 10 dairy items. All right, sleeping. We already talked about that. Melatonin. We talked about that. Activity in the human jungle gym. Okay, so when they're little, you can make yourself into a jungle gym. But when you're bigger, you can go to a jungle gym. Or you can go rollerblading with your kids, or you can go boogie boarding with them, or you can go surfing with them. Okay, there are 100 things. Or you can take a martial arts class with them, and then mommy and me, or daddy and me, or whatever. You can do stuff. The more you do with your kids, the better. Then there's the yoga and me. Mommy and me yoga. Okay. Childcare and development. Your kids need to have a level of activity that is of 1 to 3 hours a day. Let me repeat that. In high school, 3 hours a day. That's a PE class and sports at the end. That's 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day where they're running through the streets playing softball with their neighbors. Okay, so you guys went insane and created a generation that's addicted to video games. And so the kids are completely underdeveloped emotionally when dealing with their bodies. They have very little sense of grounding. They have very little sense of whole being. They are lacking the self-confidence in sport or just existing in a human form. So, if they're not good in sports, we do yoga. If they're not good in ballet, we do tap. And then when we get good in tap class, maybe we take a ballet class because that's what we weren't good in. And maybe that's okay. We're the star in tap. And because we're the star in tap, it's definitely okay to develop all of those areas in our life where we are not good at all, where we are just dragon shit. That's okay. That's actually better than thinking we have to be good at ballet and tap, where then you create a psychopath. I won't do ballet because I'm not good at that. So I never learn how to get better at something I suck at. I never learn hard work or patience or overcoming extreme challenges. Etc., etc., etc. And so then you create a kid like Elijah Wood, who ends up being a blanket narcissist that goes, horror movies and that alone, because that's my interest and that's what I'm good at. And everyone can starve to death and be stabbed. And I don't care because I'm a psychopath. Give me money. We created a monster. I'm not going to do any spiritual work because I'm just not good and I don't even like it, even if it hurts and harms everyone else around me. So our main goal with childcare is building character, self-growth, self-awareness, and work ethic. Going, I can be nothing, and then overcome like an obstacle. That's our goal. To create a child that is resilient and it says, I can do something, even if it looks impossible. Maybe I have to break it down over 10 years, but maybe I can do it. Real self-esteem building. That's where Gryffindor really begins. And then Ravenclaw is a whole other ballgame. Okay, childcare. We have to include the dragons because as they age or become more psychic or developed, they need to be aware of their dragons and how to take care of their dragons and how to write their dragons' paperwork and how to clean their dragons because they need to learn about the astral planes. And the dragons make it more fun and funny and very responsible. This is very high karma teaching, grounded wisdom, everything. Soul love. Soul love. Okay. So we're going to have the metal mesh grafts around our body. Around our bones. I have the Hitler stash on my the shadow underneath my nose. So I need to figure out, why do I have my Hitler stash there? Still there. I'm being told I'm being Hitler about how this mental body gets installed. Because it really should just be the metal grafts around the body and the tail and the brain. And then we throw the petri dish goo on that metal graft. We're going to put a Mary Poppins charm in the petri dish goo. And what it is, it's my childcare knowledge plus Deborah Tillman's childcare knowledge plus my sister's friends' childcare knowledge. And then one of my friends is Katie Clother, and she has so much love with her children. She knows how to deal with them on a really deep, loving, emotional level. And when you go into their home, it feels like the Weasleys. Whatever good childcare knowledge Kelly has. Elaine, Stacy. So this is just the beginning. And then we have childcare knowledge dragons. Oh, what? I forgot the British super nanny. Her name. But we're gonna put Caesar Milan in here too, because we're gonna put in the dog care knowledge. And we'll put in Sandy Morin for child care and dog not care knowledge. She knew how to take care of Marissa, which was her kid. A very loving connection. And whatever knowledge my own mother would have about travel, and setting the fruit on the table every night or every week. So our combined knowledge, and the knowledge that comes through Rosario. We bring in Rosario's knowledge. The combined community of a group of very intelligent women that are not catty and fighting, but more problem solving, will create an abundance of health and children that can be masters. So we make sure it soaks in to the goo. And we make sure it goes through the wings, because we're like Isis, the divine femme mother, like Isis. So it goes through the wings, and it might look like dragon wings, or it might look like feathered wings. So Isis and Mott, Kelly's Mott, it's the same. And then we put in Mother Earth's Childcare Knowledge Charm. And that's got a peach glow. And then we've got Rava's Childcare Knowledge Charm, Mother Andromeda's. That has more of a white, fluffy essence. And then we have Moira's Childcare Knowledge Charm, Moira. And then we have Mother Wendy's Childcare. It's the same. But Moira is the purple dragon. It's like the head of the children. Keeper of keys and kids at Hogwarts Sora. The purple charm. Moira's a purple dragon. Then we might have Princess Poppy Childcare Charm. So that's when you need to stay fun when they're psychos. And then we just allow it to, and then we recode it with Mary Poppins Charm. I'm going to build a Mary Poppins Charm and put it on Facebook. And it's all A&R through the bottom of the clipeth. As much as possible. That gets better. The more people, more do pages. Okay. And we're going to expand that. Somebody's saying we need to put the Come to Kali Ren charm on this, because some of us have problems that Kali Ren did not talk about, and she might have creative solutions to our problems. If we email her, she might have 500 tips to provide. We may get a bunch of downloads over the course of a couple weeks. Yes, that would be very appropriate. Okay, then we go out. So I don't charge for stuff like that because we are a community. You have an issue with your child, like email me. You know what I do? I go, Elijah Wood, you owe me this. That. Understand. I'm not going to take money from housewives or women, single mothers that can barely pay their bills. What I might ask is for you, when you see Elijah, to go, look at that Facebook. That's it. It's pretty simple. All right. And even if you're like, oh, she's just a schizophrenic, go, this is your problem, Elijah. She's a schizophrenic, but this is your problem. That's it. So you don't even have to, you don't even have to agree. You just go, there you go. All right. So we've times it by 50, going outward, down, back, and forward. And we have a metal inlay in between each. It's the coat of titanium, because we need to become titanium in life. Now, the cups for CHESED are titanium cups that come together and create a titanium egg. And we spent a lot of money on those cups. And the teaching is that I can become double of myself. So whatever I'm capable of now, I can double it. And I am titanium. And now we need to put in all the lava, because you may have felt a lot of psychic interference, because people like that titanium and then they magnetically attach to it. So we need to purify it with lava, the Gryffindor lava. Because now you vibe like a childcare professional. And because you can take care of a kid physically and emotionally and mentally and spiritually, everyone thinks it's your job to take care of them too. Instead of telling them to take a class because they're adults. Somebody says, we need the healthy boundaries charm on this egg. Yes, and the virtue juice. That too. I will do a healing down the road for mothers who adopted their children out or donated their eggs and the healing for how to manage or take care, or to repair the damage done to the kid in the process. So we'll do that down the road. It may be in the mental body section. Or how to psychically connect, at least on a soul level, with your kid. And maybe on a mental level. Maybe on a low astral level where you know what they need. And then we're going to put hot pink paste on all the Gryffindor lasagna or Gryffindor lava. 50 layers out and down, forward and back. All right. And then Charlie says, make sure it goes all the way down. And the dragons will dragon fire the stuff at your root chakra that's still kind of blocked. That gets in the way of producing good childcare. From the bottom of the clip. Somebody's saying, you're talking about good childcare at the bottom of the clippeth while Star is knife raping. Yes. Yes. Dan's still forcing channel on me. We're going to have those discussions. Healthy psychic attack to self-defense, but it's in the A&R books. A good portion of it. I will be doing a Defense Against the Dark Arts class down the road for adults and children. We will get there. Somebody's saying, ew, you can feel my snide comments. Yes. It acts like a sword stabbing me in my shoulder. or in my vagina, or in my heart, or in my face. That's what astral attack is, or is created from. So now people are trying to revisit their astral attack, and they're building something near my vagina. And the only thing appropriate to send to people's vagina is lava to burn out gross stuff. Lava, dragon fire, the Gryffindor lasagna, which is more lava. And then you usually encase them in an entire egg, and then you stay away from there. Unless you guys are ascendioed into like Bina, which... All right. You're doing like a Lilith Potter on a kid or a person. Try not to, unless they ask you for it. You guys, like, that's for somebody that's ascended into Bina. Like if Kelly just did Kelly is gonna do a Lilith Potter on me when she sees that I need help, and she knows how to do it well. You guys are like psychos and then think you can do whatever you want all the day long. Oh my God. If you're gonna do it, if you need to do it on your own kids, it's different. It's like squeezing the anus pustules out of your own dog. Maybe your kids' friends need it, and you know how to do it because you did it with yourself first, and you did it with your children, and then you're pretty sophisticated, or not, you're pretty unsophisticated, but it's like maybe they need it more than... Okay. Otherwise, it's pretty invasive. That will be awesome. All right, so etheric surgery discernment for children is like a requirement for like a psychic, and definitely for childcare. So we need to pour that in with the virtue juice. And I think that's coming up. Some of the new downloads are more like there's a tag or like a tampon at the little girl's vagina that you can just pull out, and then a whole new tail of DNA that will latch onto the ground and grid. So it's less invasive. You're not making any cuts or anything. You're just pulling out a tag. And that's more appropriate. Okay. Trying to think of anything else. Now We're going to have the 50 Ravenclaw blue gels. Up and down and out and back. It's the Jackie Kennedy presentation mode. And here we have this and this. And then we have the salviohexia. Pearl on the encasing of those Ravenclaw blue gels. And then we porcupine through all of those layers. And then we create a metal mesh around this egg. And then we're going to paint it in, somebody said Gryffindor blue, but it's going to be a darker Ravenclaw indigo for higher psychic awareness. And you can paint it in Gryffindor blue, and that's the wake-up color. Both. Maybe we do the indigo on the outside with the Gryffindor blue flames. Childcare. Somebody's asking, how do we talk about physical appearance with children? This would be my way. Health, fit, humble. You're a child. You should be able to go play basketball in what you wear. Unless we're going to do like Sunday church dresses or something like that. And that's for a girl. So definitely for a boy. And hygienic and clean. And with makeup, when they're older, simple, natural, and I would have the discussions with your children, with your girls especially. Those boys are not into you. They're liars and they're into other things. And so that the girls aren't coating on layers and layers of makeup to make themselves beautiful like peacocks for men. And I would rewire it where the men are supposed to be the peacocks. And the women, or the girls, are supposed to be well-kept, well-manicured, healthy, and the desirable one, not the reverse. A girl should not be wearing shorts to get a boy's attention. And that's pretty much all they do, because they need love. A ballerina doesn't look like a clown. And I would keep it on that note. The height of feminine beauty looks like Misty Copeland. That's the height of feminine beauty. Natural, athletic, elegant, and there's no whore clothes. So that's what's beautiful. And these teenage fads and hipster nonsense is not. Now, if your kid needs to look like a goth or something else, then there are other heights of feminine beauty that don't require sexual assault or asking for it. Now, I'm not one of those girls. I was the girl that would dress to get attention. Okay, so it's not about that. But I shouldn't have needed to. I spent way too much time, energy, and money around it. It's bizarre. I would have gotten much further in life much faster if that was not even an issue in my mind. More important, I would teach your kids how to see and how to know before spending the money or to embody. It's more important that your kid knows the fashion than wears it. That's like a fashion designer instead of a model. It's more important that the kid is a fashion designer than the model. And that's everything in life. It's more important that they're able to do and produce than being on the receiving end and being the dumb bunny. This is just the way I would do it with my kids. Period. Making sure those blue glazes are good to go. All the way through the bottom of the clip. Now we have a dragon burning and activating it. And we're good to go. Collie Red out.